in this video I'm going to talk about Hunter Moore, the most hated man on the internet. And this is something I've watched recently when I was putting together furniture. So I've moved house now. I'll show you around at some point. Maybe I'll just film from different rooms. I'm going to talk at the end about the long delay. I don't want to take up time now talking about it, but it's nice to be back. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, there's a 3-part series on Hunter Moore. Hunter Moore had a website called Is Anyone Up? Lots of pictures were posted of naked and partly naked women. These photos were always private. Often they were private to just that one person. So the only way that Hunter Moore accessed the photos was because he was getting someone to hack their email accounts. And other times the photos were given to him by ex-boyfriends who were bitter about being dumped. He talks about why he started it. He had been in love with someone, apparently, and then she had ended the relationship. That's what I gather from what he said, which was, well, it all started with, me hating some dumb bitch who broke my heart, really. And that's how it started, dude. We don't know why she ended it. Maybe she had an idea about the kind of guy he was and luckily ran away. But she had to be punished by Hunter Moore and publicly humiliated. And this is what he got off on, him doing this and other people doing it on his website. And I get the feeling that it wasn't just about making money. He actually really did get off on the idea that all these women were being humiliated publicly. In the documentary, we see a presenter interviewing Hunter Moore, and he says, "What I admire about you is you don't hide behind an alias. You have massive balls." So in other words, he used his real name, and he thought, well, that's him not hiding, that's him being really brave. He craved the attention. So why would he want to leave a different name? That would mean people wouldn't recognise that it was him that was the bully. Why would he want that? You can make the mistake of thinking an abusive person is actually ashamed of their actions, that they want to find a different route, but they just haven't discovered it yet, and they don't really want to be that person. And so many people make that mistake. They're projecting themselves onto that person and they're assuming that that person thinks in the same way as they do. And that can really get you into trouble because you can't protect yourself if you're thinking that everyone thinks as you do. Hunter Moore is a great example of somebody who is not ashamed of being nasty, who gets something from it, who really thrives on treating other people badly. He called himself a professional life ruiner. This is something he wants to show off to the world because that's what's going to get him the most attention. He's described it as too much fun. And I believe that. I don't think he's just saying that. It makes sense because of all of the attention he got. And also because it would have been a release of anger. I think that he was probably the powerless one once, because that's the case for people who end up having narcissistic personality disorder. And he's showing the signs of having that. You can get narcissistic supply if you're a narcissist from people loving and adoring you. And you can also get that same supply from people hating you and fearing you and being very upset by you. It doesn't matter what the emotion is, as long as you have the power to create that in people or believe that you do. He's just trying to affect people sufficiently, trying to have enough of an impact to feel that he's important. Because when we're loved, we're important to someone. And feeling important because you affect them, because they have strong emotions around you, even though that's not love, that's the next best thing. In episode 2, he's quoted as saying, "Without bullying, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know who I'd be." You're not a bully in isolation. You need somebody to bully. When your identity is only formed because of what other people think of you, then it's not your real identity, it's a mask. But you can believe it's you and everyone around you can believe it's you, as long as you keep that behaviour up. The minute he stops bullying, he's not getting the same responses from people, and so he loses himself. And that's because he never developed his true self, That's the same with all narcissists. You know, they're underdeveloped people. They're like little children inside because they've never actually learned how to be an adult or how to have a whole personality. Moore compared himself to Charles Manson. And Charles Manson was someone who had so much power over people, someone who charmed his followers to the degree that they were so brainwashed that they would kill for him. Moore's online fans referred to themselves as the family, and they talked about Moore as if he was God. So they would call him father, and actually God, they'd use that word. And so Moore got to be on this pedestal, which is exactly what he wanted. The impression I get is that he was addicted to that feeling of power. And the way that he got it was to continually humiliate and bully people. That way, all of his fans would adore him even more and think he was amazing. And then the people he bullied, of course, would feel, would have lots of feelings about what was being done to them. And the fact that they were reacting so much would make him feel powerful again. So he would even post their letters to him begging that he would take down their photos. He would reply with just LOL. And when his victims sent cease and desist letters, they'd get the same response. And so I think that illustrates how he was really getting off on their pain, because why else would you do that? You don't meet many narcissists who don't have flying monkeys. There are the odd few who stay hidden so no one ever really finds out that they are a narcissist. So they don't necessarily have people who are doing their dirty work for them. But there are others who are much more blatant. If you can't spot a narcissist, look for the flying monkeys and ask yourself who's in charge of them. Who are they afraid of? Who do they respect? Who will they treat differently from how they treat you? What these flying monkeys would do, these fans of Moore's, was they would film themselves punching people. They'd harm people they didn't even know. And it wasn't just other people, they would also harm themselves. So they would hurt themselves on camera. They would humiliate themselves. They'd film themselves urinating and defecating. And some apparently lit their own genitals on fire. So you have to think, like, why? It's one thing that they wanted to bully other people, but why were they willing to hurt themselves for Hunter Moore? A flying monkey is not always going to do things that are going to benefit them. They're under the spell of their leader. They want to impress that person. And they understood that when people humiliated themselves, that made Hunter Moore happy. And more than anything, they wanted him to be happy with them. That's what I think this was about. And you'll see that in other flying monkeys, that they might actually be sabotaging their own lives in order to try to get this person to be happy with them. A journalist called Alex Morris from Rolling Stone magazine went on tour with this guy, Hunter Moore, and this was in 2012. She wrote that women were lining up in the green room to have sex with Hunter Moore. And they weren't just having sex, they were trying to give him something to put on his website. So they were snorting coke, apparently off his penis. She also said they were letting him drink vodka out of their vaginas. So, I mean, why were the women doing this? I think they had learnt somewhere that doing something for someone at their own expense was going to make them feel special. So you've got these women on the website begging to be taken off, and then you've got these other women who are doing things that are quite humiliating just so that they can get more attention from Hunter Moore, so that they can be his fans, so that he's going to appreciate what they've done for him, the sacrifices they've made to their dignity, you could say. And one of those people who sacrificed her dignity was known as Butthole Girl. Destiny Benedict was 19 years old and she was working as a cam girl. She was trying to make enough money to move out of her parents' house. She sent photos of herself nude to Hunter Moore, and she did that because she was hoping that would send people to her webcam sites and make her more money. That wouldn't have been what Hunter Moore would have wanted to do. Why would he actually help someone to make more money? That would empower them. He wanted to disempower them. He wanted to humiliate people. During one of her webcam chats with friends, Destiny Benedict was dared to put a can of hair mousse up her anus. So she did that, and then her friend sent a screenshot of that to Hunter Moore. As far as I know, he didn't get her permission to do this. And then Hunter Moore put it on his website alongside her Facebook profile, which showed her 2 kids on it. And this is what he'd do to people. He would find their Facebook profiles so that they, everyone would know where they could find them. He must have had a desire for people to find his victims, get into their personal lives via Facebook and bully them. Why? It makes me think of someone leading an army and the power of that, of sending an army off to war and knowing they'll do damage and risk something in the process, just because your command is so important to them. It seems like the ultimate fantasy for a high school dropout, and that's what Hunter Moore was. He went from being less than his peers to being revered as a god. And in a meaningful way, because people took action. People took shocking and risky action on his behalf. Benedict asked Moore to take that photo off his website, but he refused to. She was smart because she knew that what he wanted more than anything was to humiliate and bully people and to get all the attention generated by that. So she offered to put different foreign objects up her butthole so that he would agree to then take the photo down. And that's what happened. He then put up a post saying people could pick something to put up her butthole and she would do it. When I was watching the documentary, I was horrified to discover that Benedict didn't get paid for any of the photos or videos that were made of her humiliating herself. Hunter Moore would have made a lot of money from her, I think, because she became famous. But I get the impression that she was used to sensing what people wanted from her and providing it as her own survival mechanism. If she does what somebody else wants, and if it's going to be bad for her and good for them, she's going to be rewarded somehow, and she just needs to rely on that person to give her the reward. That's how abusive relationships work. So people who've encountered this since childhood get to know that their feelings don't matter. Their needs don't matter. The only thing that does matter is someone else's feelings. That's their ticket. That's where they get their breadcrumbs from. It's a temporary fix of a feeling like love. So you can see what a vulnerable position people are in when they have that belief. And you might find that you have a belief like that in certain relationships or around certain people. And you might find you do something similar, even if you're watching this video thinking you don't relate to these women, because in your situation it's not as drastic or it's not sexual. You might still find, if you have experienced abuse in your past, you might find that you do things to please other people for their benefit at your own expense, and that you're kind of addicted to doing that because you need them to like you. And when you do that, you don't give people a chance to get to know you. And you don't give yourself the chance to get to know them and to see if there's someone who actually would respect your boundaries, who would like you for who you are. You've already made the assumption that they won't. So I hope that was helpful. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I didn't want to say nothing about the long delay because this pause between videos isn't something I want to get into the habit of doing. And that's really partly for selfish reasons, because I want people to keep coming back to the channel. I don't want people to forget about it, and with social media, you're obviously supposed to be doing stuff all the time and putting out loads of stuff in every week. And that's not something I've ever been very good at. And it might be a good time to mention long COVID again. I had an oxygen concentrator to help me breathe, and I was using that in the night and sometimes when I was having rests in the day. And I was on these steroids, and they really helped me to breathe better. And they also gave me loads of energy, and I started thinking, wow, maybe I'm better now. You know, I felt amazing for about 3 days, because first of all, I had to wait for them to work. And then I was told by my doctor that I had to slowly come off them. So, you know, that's what I've then spent weeks and weeks doing, just slowly coming down off them. So it's a bit annoying because I had such a very short-lived effect. And then, of course, I came off the steroids, and I got worse. I'm just thinking that, you know, there might be some people who have long COVID, but they might not know what people can be prescribed for it and how it can help. I have got a photo of the stuff I've been taking, all the different supplements and stuff, and I might put that on Instagram. But it's been a long road, you know, because I got COVID at the end of January. You know, I couldn't walk for, the doctor told me to stop trying to walk because I was trying to do a daily walk, you know. I started off at about 20 minutes and then I went to 15, then I went to 10, then in the end 5. And it was really hard because, you know, it's really emotionally difficult because I would continually fail. I wouldn't be able to keep it up. You know, after just a 5-minute walk, I'd be absolutely shattered. And then I had this tearful conversation with my doctor who said, just stop trying. So I stopped trying to walk, and that really helped, you know, because I wasn't failing every day. And if you're in that situation, I think the most important thing is just to listen to your body and rest when you need to rest, and trust that you'll get better. Because if you don't trust it, then you'll get so anxious that you'll wear yourself out. And believe me, you will get better. Stay away from anyone who doesn't believe you. That's something that I have really struggled with, you know, people who don't actually believe that you're ill, or that there are lots of people who think that everyone's overreacting to COVID and that people just shouldn't care so much. And they might think, oh, why are you wearing a mask and stuff? Why are you know, don't overreact to it. So, you know, just ignore people like that. Just stay away from anyone who doesn't believe that long COVID is a real thing and that it can take over your life. And just listen to your body. And thank you for being there. Thank you for still watching the videos. And that might feel a bit weird that I'm saying that, you know, because you might not feel like you're doing that to do me a favour, but actually it really does help to know, okay, when I'm not up to it and I can't make videos, at least there are still going to be people there when I do put one out. You know, it doesn't mean that I'm killing off everything that I've built. And I really want to make more videos. You know, there are so many videos I want to make. It's just finding the time and energy. And I think that over the coming weeks, I am going to get that energy back. So I'm going to leave it here, and I'll show you some videos of my cats to sort of bring up the mood a bit. Okay, you have to come out of the box, darling. I know it's fun, but it's noisy, isn't it? It's noisy. Where are you? Where are you? You inside? Come on, darling. Quick! Come out. He's such an easy purring. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Okay, I need to carry on with this because it's going to get dark soon, isn't it? I need to finish. And they weren't just having sex. They were trying to give him something to put on his website. Thank you. This is what I've been given. Thank you, sweetheart. Ready? You're purring. Ready? He's just like a dog. He runs and catches things and brings them back to me. Even your purring is very noisy, isn't it, baby? Baby. Okay, I can see it. I can see it. Ready? Ready? Go. They took shocking and risky action on his behalf. We've both got different things we want, haven't we, from this afternoon? Hey, you want me to keep throwing this and I want nice quiet. And we're not going to both get what we want, are we? Hmm? That's for sure. Ready? Ready? What is it? You've got food in your bowl, haven't you? Hmm? Yes, you have, darling. Hello, baby. Right. Yes, sweetheart. Are you ready? You're not even looking at it. Why don't you just forget about it then, yeah? Yeah, you can be nice. Thank you for your present. Thank you, darling.